6 iron, I guess. I always like to, I got this is a tip I got from Fred Couples actually. I used to warm up more like you'll hear Tiger or Jack Nicklaus talking about warming up, where they're starting with their wedges and progressively going through their set, you know, and then the club they're gonna hit on the first tee. Having your last club of your practice session, the club you're gonna hit on the first tee, is a great idea. But something I learned from Freddie Couples was start with maybe your favorite club, more of a mid iron. I really like a 7 or a 6 iron, maybe an 8 iron, rather than a wedge. And the reason being, if I'm starting out with my lob or my sand wedge, I'm just, hitting these little chippy things, and I'm kind of getting used to swinging soft. You're not warming up as much as, say, I grab, what do I got, 6? Yeah, my 6 iron here. You don't have to swing hard at your first shots, but just having a little bit longer club makes warming up a little easier. Let's hit one more. I didn't really like that one. Wasn't focused. There. Something that really helped my driving, it's something I've done for a while, but when I was younger, I maybe didn't do it so well, was when you're on a golf hole, it could be par 4, par 5, whatever, that has a nice big wide fairway, say there's no trouble right, no trouble left. People are just getting up there and just generally looking like, oh, yep, I need to hit it that way, and just going. As opposed to what I think is going to help a lot of people, instead of just generally aiming for the fairway area, pick a more specific target. Whether it's a tree in the distance, a water cooler, the cart girl, whoever, whatever is out there. And really pay attention to angles as well. That's something that good golfers do better. Or let's say that's something golfers who shoot lower scores do better than golfers who shoot higher scores, is they play the angles of the course a lot better. Say you're on the first hole, par 4, just example, and the pin is on the right and you're teeing off. And there's bunkers, say up front. Pin on the right, bunkers up front, you're teeing off, par 4. You might want to go down the left side of that fairway. Each hole is different, of course, but theoretically down the left side of that fairway to give you a better angle at that right pin, as opposed to maybe being down the right side of the fairway and you short-sided yourself and you have almost no green to work with, and you're gonna have to hit a perfect shot or you're in trouble, rather than if you hit the same drive, but on the left, you have a lot more room for error coming up on the green. That's one example of using your head on the golf course, and something golfers who shoot lower scores do really well, is they use their head. I've met a lot of driving range pros in my life. These guys that have these beautiful swings, everything's textbook. They're hitting at 320 on the range, hitting it beautiful, and they go out and they shoot 79. And it's like, they just don't know how to manage a golf course. That's what I call a driving range pro. Someone who looks like they're going to be good, and then they can't break 75. Another example, say you're on a short par 4, call it, let's say it's 320 yards. Drivable, let's say it's a short par 4, 320 yards, but just short left of the green, there's water, and just right of the green, there's trees. This is actually the second hole of my home course, I'm imagining. It's about 320. Water left, trees right, and the green's elevated in the middle. So you got about 220 yards to that water. That's right about where the 100-yard marker is. But still, I see a majority of people get to that tee, they just grab their driver. The driver's just coming out, and they either put it off to the right in the woods, or they pull it left into the water. Instead of, what I do is, I know it's 220 to that water. I know I can't hit my 5-iron 220, so I just usually hit I throw a ball on the deck. I don't use a tee on that hole. Just a nice little you know, stock 5-iron. It's a little over 200 yards for me, you know, maybe 210 if I catch it real good. And I know I got about 100 to 120 yard shot into the green, which is perfect. And even if I hit driver on that hole perfectly, I have driven the green before for fun and in scrambles a few times. But even if I hit it really close to that green, is that really an easier shot from, let's say, 40 yards, 20 yards up this little hill? Is that an easier shot than a nice stock 100-yard wedge? Sometimes it's not, especially if the pin's up front. Good luck getting a 30-yard shot to stop versus your 100-yard shot. You got that all day. 100 yards, most people's gonna be a sand wedge or something. They got that 100-yard shot that just pretty easy, pretty standard, and it's gonna land and stop real close to where it lands rather than running out, which sometimes you don't have the space to run it out, and that's why you wouldn't want to be close to the green. I hope that made sense. None of this is planned. I'm just kind of out here practicing, looking at my own swing and chatting to the camera because I get asked a lot of questions and I'm trying to answer some of those questions. And also help people, specifically my friends that I've been working with recently, shoot lower scores. And I know that they're guilty of what I'm talking about. You know, they just get to a hole and out comes the driver without even, you know, thinking about it strategically.